welcome back to the channel. Chad, CK Knife and Tool. If you're new, thanks for stopping over. Don't forget to look down below or over here on your side a little bit. Find a little playlist or something that might have my handsome little face in there. I got some guests in the shop, so it's really hard to do this because they've never been part of YouTube before. They were not watching a lot of videos either because I gave them homework assignments and they do that. The reason for this is the father and son class. Never mentioned this to really anybody at all on YouTube, especially for you guys that are subscribed to this, because this was a pretty new thing. And a little backstory is this gentleman, his wife is awesome. She got to talking to me and I was kind of, throwing some ideas out, and I mentioned what I wanted to start doing, and that was teaching how to make a knife. And more importantly, not just anybody. I'm looking at trying to teach people that father and son, maybe a husband that wants to make his wife something nice, or maybe a son that wants to make his father something special. That was the clientele I was getting into. Well, Amanda turned around and said, hey, I got somebody that wants to make a knife. I know he would love it. And it was her son, Jeremy. Well, then we got to talking. I said, well, Jeremy's 14 years old at that time. And I said, well, somebody's going to have to be in the shop. So she said, well, it's going to be Dan. So she said, well, I'll get Dan a spot too. So guys, I'm going to introduce you to Jeremy and Dan here. I'm going to set you guys up, and they're going to tell you a little bit about what we just got done doing. So let's get going. Okay, everybody, so welcome back. Appreciate it. Again, this is Dan.
I'm Dan.
And that's Jeremy. Just again to mention, Dan's wife, Amanda, was really stoked that I'd be interested in opening up the shop to kind of teach somebody something. So she's like, well, I want to get my son this class. Well, of course, he's a minor, so I got to have somebody here hanging out with me. And that was Dan. Dan got the short straw of that deal. But the kicker is then Dan was able to make his own knife. So what I ended up doing is getting them together, and I gave them a basic idea on a style of knife. And they were able to draw it out and use 1095 as a practice one. And then they finished their knives up in CPM D2 steel. They got pretty much whatever they wanted in the shop. Pins, Kydex, wood, whatever they wanted, they could do it on their own. But they had to show up once a week, and we had to go through the process. And these guys are now holding knives that they spend at least 80 or 90% of the time they made them. And that was what I was hoping to do. So I guess, first off, I appreciate it. Thank you again. I didn't know Dan up until we started the class. I knew his wife for a while, but I didn't meet either one of them. So it was really good to even make friends. And you guys know, as I was traveling before with the Axe family coming out to visit and wanting to get to meet other people like Mike with Guns and Gear and everything, it's building friendships, doing things like that. And I'm really about that. And I built some friends here. Furthermore, this guy, he's already said, when I get old enough, I'm going to have my credit card and I'm going to buy more knives. So, I guess first and foremost, good, bad, I did okay.
Great experience. It was the kind of thing where Amanda said, well, we want to do this. Jeremy loves making knives and watching shows on YouTube and, other channels. And so this was right up his alley. But then somebody had to come. And she's like, well, you'll probably be the one, so, you can do a knife too. And I probably rolled my eyes, when I first thought, man, I'm going to have to go spend 3 or 4 hours on a Sunday for all these weeks, making a knife. But it became something I look forward to every week. I was like, this is awesome.
Kind of fun.
It was very fun, and just...
Well, those had to be pretty nice, cool Christmas boxes you guys got to open up.
Very good.
So Amanda was like, how do I give somebody... I didn't have gift certificates, really. I had those cards you can get. I didn't have anything else. So I said, well, Amanda, we got them a box, like my box is here, and we've got hoodies for them. So she got the hoodies, they're bar steel that their knives are made out of,
yep.
And they showed up. That's what they got to unwrap, so they had something.
Right.
And that was kind of important to have, even for her.
And I didn't understand because I said, well, where's Jeremy's knife box? She didn't tell me before Christmas that I was getting one too. So she's like, oh, well, here's his knife box, but he can't open it until you open this one too. And I was like, what? So we ended up having to open it at the same time.
So it was pretty cool. It was really exciting to do that because, again, this is the first time. I already got a couple other people that want to do it. And I have taught folks in the past in the shop, But it's been a couple of the Army or Marine guys that have come in and come by and they do this kind of
I'm
stuff.
not Army or Marine, and I know nothing about knives or metal. Or
so again, both of you guys, you don't have a shop at home.
Nothing.
You don't have anything. So again, this is that process that I liked. I liked to, get in there and do it, and I was hoping I was doing well enough.
Yeah.
Wasn't being too much of a dork, was I? Okay. All right. So what do you guys have here? What is it? What do we got going on here? So we got a nice, we'll roll in video, of course, and pictures, but they both got a nice 8-inch bush knife. And they were originally going to do this as a father and son kind of matching set, but then it kind of morphed. Dan kind of stuck on plan a little bit, and Dan did his taper tang. And so the pictures you're seeing, Dan did his taper tang, as well as his sheath and everything else, but Jeremy didn't want to do that taper tang. We practiced a little bit, right? And how'd the taper tang go?
It was okay.
Okay.
Well, it was when we first came in on our first day. It was actually kind of overwhelming to me because I don't know anything about steel. I didn't do my homework, so I didn't know about all the different finishes. And so then we started talking about our scales and what our options were on the scales and that sort of thing, pins. Yep. All of that was brand new to me, jimping. I didn't come in with an idea in my mind. But we talked our way through it. We drew something out, and I liked it. And we were going to do, like matching knives, Jeremy and I. Yeah,
with the Cocobolo and, the same finishes and such. Then they picked different pins.
Yep.
So Dan has that really nice bear with the copper salmon.
Yep.
It was showcased in a knife. I can't say anything because this video is going out before that person gets their knife. Well, you guys saw pictures, but I can't talk about whose knife that is. It doesn't come out till June.
Okay.
But you got that one, and then Jeremy picked out one that you guys have seen. It's in one of my knives, my personal knife, and that's the elk with a tree and everything in the background, an outdoor skate. Both being outdoors, they like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They both picked those. But now, what did you pick for scales? Because your dad's got Cocobolo.
I chose micarta, those black cloths, in order to be water resistant and also to have a more grippy feel for tactile use.
And he wanted just that cool factor. All right, he wanted that tactical cool factor here because you got the sandblasted finish.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you guys have seen on the Coyote Works knives with the Warrior Poet Study knives I'm doing, I'll do the sandblasted finish with the canvas micartas. Jeremy picked out the black canvas micarta with his, and he went with the full size tang. Mm-hmm. And what was the thinking behind that versus a taper tang?
To add more weight.
Yeah, because it did kind of feel good, right? It had that heft, and that was a big thing because they were limited. I wasn't going to let these guys come in and do any size knife.
Right.
You got to draw limitations to it too, especially if somebody has never been in a shop before.
Right.
So we had the limitations, but Jeremy's already got his road picked out, so he already knows he wants to do that. So, and I'm thinking Dan's got to come back to make somebody a kitchen knife for maybe an anniversary.
Right. I really would love to come back and do a stainless steel knife.
See,
now,
there you go.
And then I'll put a lot more thought coming into what I want my scales to be, and what I would, what kind of pin I would want.
Now, shape and feel. What do you pick with that? Because you guys each have different jimping.
Right.
Who's got what now? What do we have?
I did, this kind of...
the quarter-inch round jimping.
Quarter-inch
That's
round,
right. Yep.
Yeah, I did this. Yeah.
And you did the straight file jimping.
Mm-hmm.
So again, two different. And again, it was all these options. They thought they'd have a matching knife, but by the time they got done looking at all the pins, all the wood, all the other handle materials, all the finishes, it became your personality.
Right, and each time we came to the step in the process, we looked at what we had drawn out, and then we went on the website and we looked at some of the different knives and what the options would look like, and we kind of adjusted as we went.
So the easiest part on all this, Jeremy, what do you think was the easiest? Because Jeremy just finished his knife today.
Yeah.
We just wrapped it up. He shows up. Show him the sheath colors. Look at it. Show these two. He picked out two different ones. You got American flag. It's called Mariflage or something like that. It was funny.
Yeah.
And so he picked out two because he liked them both. He wanted to accessorize. But out of everything that we got, the hardest and the easiest, what were your two?
The hardest was probably the blade profile.
Trying to do the blade profile?
Yeah. I tried it. I don't really know the easiest.
Oh, come on, you got something easy.
I can't think of the easiest. I mean...
Hand sanding.
Hand sanding was not the easiest. That's the worst part, actually.
Well, sandblasting. You did some sandblasting.
That was pretty easy, yeah.
See, that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then I'm trying to think what else. You did try your taper tang. What do you... What do you think about that? What do you?
The first half of the taper tang was terrible, and then the second half I did pretty good, but I still wanted to have the extra weight, so I just
Yeah. And it's one of those things, guys. A lot of people don't do taper tangs. I was taught to do a taper tang. My first knife I ever did was a taper tang, and that's how I stayed ever since then. And my son, his first knife, he didn't want to do taper tang, but then his second knife he did, and that was when he did for John Stearns. So it's really hard to do it, and it is. And like Dan, you did the taper tang.
I did, yeah.
And Dan did his taper tang.
I did the taper tang. I did not do my blade profile.
No, you guys tapped me in for that one.
I asked if I could like start it and then he could clean it up. He's like, no, not recoverable if you get it. But I mean, I would say I did the blade profile I didn't do, and then I didn't do the belly. I didn't shape the very belly of this part.
Yeah, I did finish that part up. Those are pretty much the two things I did.
I felt like I got to do everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know what was the easiest or the hardest necessarily, but I know what the messiest was. Because Jeremy had epoxy all over the entire shop.
Oh, man, yeah. So guys, at the epoxy stage, I actually glued up, I had Dan's Montana that they got to see some of the different knives we're doing, and I glued up the Montana. We drilled the holes. We did everything. Yeah. So it was tell, show, do.
Right.
How I was taught everything, both in Marine Corps and in law enforcement with Jeff's shop at JC Knives. Tell, show, do. So I said, well, I'm going to have a knife. I'll show you guys how to do this. We set it all up. At no point did I ever have epoxy getting near my elbows or dripping. I think when Jeremy saw the old pile of epoxy dripping on the floor, he thought that was good for him to do this. He had epoxy all over my black mat. He had epoxy on everything. I was surprised you didn't have epoxy in the hair. And so
I'm surprised the clamps came off. That's all.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But he did great. And for two people that have never been in a knife shop before and did it all, you guys have slick knives. That's
super amazing knives. I mean, I brought pictures of this to my partners at the office every week. I said, look at what we did now. Look at what we did now. When I brought the finished product, they were amazed. I think they're going to buy knives now.
There we go. That's what we want, right? That's the whole time. So now, honestly, we were talking before we did the camera stuff. You do the prep stuff, but the pro and the con for me, a pro and a con, because you guys are the first father and son thing. Like Flo, this took us 11 weeks?
Yeah, we had a couple of missed weeks for snow.
Yeah, we missed 3 weeks. Right. The snow was Super Bowl.
Super Bowl had to miss a week.
Super Bowl, camping.
Yeah,
and then snow.
Right.
We missed that, so we missed those 3 weeks. I think this is week 11. Mm-hmm. So it was 4 or 5 hours a day.
Right.
And it was 11 weeks. So it was, just a little bit more than I thought, like 40 hours or something. But we did some jaw jacking. We did some stuff there. I get a little gabby at times. Stop it. I know those are already saying yes. But pro and con, maybe if we were to come back and do this again, what would we streamline? Maybe what could we add? What would we want to spend more time on? What do you think you'd want to spend more time on if we were in the shop? That you could practice more?
I don't really know. I enjoyed it a lot. I felt like it was really well coordinated and really well synchronized.
Okay. You like the idea of the second knife? Because, again, we had 1095 that they could kind of practice on.
Yeah, I did terrible on that blade profile, so I just gave him the blade profile for that.
So, and then, Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought the flow was good. I think that, now having done it before and kind of knowing where we're going, I would be able to come in and we could do our chatting. I mean, I enjoyed the chatting and the socializing as it was, but I feel like, we could probably do more of that while I'm working, Well,
yeah, because before you got to focus.
Right. Now I'm
you can have more casual.
Yeah, it could be more casual. I could, I know what I'm doing, and so forth. So
it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's a 10-week course, is what I'm thinking, and it's going to kind of fall around to where it's going to be. It's 10 weeks. It's 4 hours a day, 1 day a week, and the kicker is not a lot of people would be able to show up for. I don't know. You think anybody would want to come on a Monday and end on a Friday? Because that'd be kind of hard. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you think that would even be doable. If you'd ever think you'd be able to say,
like
show
sometimes
up
we were in something. I mean, if it was just me, I could do a 2-hour class. But with both of us, it would be hard. I mean, to get it all done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
When you're doing 2 people at once.
Yeah, and that was a struggle though too, is trying to get everything going right. And then somebody, their battery kept running out on their phone, and
had to go get a cord,
had to go get a charger for him,
Well, in my defense, I was already done with stuff.
He was bored
I did
because
do more hand sanding because of just the style of knife we finished.
That's right.
That is true.
But I appreciate it, guys. Thank you again. I mean, we're going to
was
say this
awesome.
off camera and on camera, but it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see Amanda probably Tuesday, so I got to thank her on that one as well.
Very good.
This video will probably come out in a couple of weeks, and we're coming up at we're middle of March right now in 2019. So this video will probably come out in another week or two, and I want to share it with everybody. And I was on the fence about doing it at first, and I waited, and I said everything turned out good. I felt good about it.
It's good.
And I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Haven't been sick and everything, so I wanted to share this with you guys and share it with them, and they were okay to come on a goofy channel like this, so thought I'd do that. But I appreciate it, Gabe.
Yeah, it was
Thank
awesome.
you very much.
Thanks so much.
Well, thank you.
Great experience.
You guys have a good one.
Will do.
And everybody else, remember, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Keeps me from the bottom of the YouTube bucket. And, I survived. See, I survived.
That's it.
You guys have a good one. Bye.